You hit the gym, you crush your workouts, you're drowning in sweat and the fat's still there. At this point, you're wondering, does my body even want to change? Here's the hard truth. You're stuck because you're chasing fat loss the wrong way. And no, working out harder isn't the answer. Most people think fat loss is about burning more calories in the gym. Just run more, sweat more, suffer more. But here's the kicker. Exercise doesn't burn nearly as many calories as you think. 30 minutes of running, maybe 300 calories gone. That's a muffin. After that workout, you move less for the rest of the day. That's your body's sneaky way of conserving energy. It's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Fat loss isn't won in the 1 hour you spend in the gym. It's lost in the other 23 hours you're barely moving and mindlessly eating. Want the brutal math? You burn more calories walking throughout your day than in that intense workout. But if you're glued to a chair, scrolling TikTok, and rewarding yourself with earned snacks, the math never adds up. It's not that you're not trying hard enough, it's that you're being sabotaged by hidden calories. That healthy smoothie? It's a milkshake in disguise. The handful of nuts that's 200 calories faster than you can blink. And don't even get me started on liquid calories. If you're serious about fat loss, you don't need to exercise more. You need to eat less without realizing it. That means smarter meals, higher protein, and staying full on fewer calories. The fastest way to lose fat? 1. Stop relying on workouts to burn it off. One brutal truth: most workouts only burn around 300 to 500 calories. That's a single snack. You cannot outrun a bad diet. 2. Increase your daily movement. 10,000 steps a day is a game changer. That's about 400 to 500 extra calories burned per day, depending on your weight and pace. Over a week, that's an entire pound of fat burned without a single workout. 3. Build muscle. Not because it burns fat directly, but because it makes you look better as the fat comes off. And here's the bonus. Every pound of muscle you gain burns an extra 6 to 10 calories per day at rest. Build 5 pounds of muscle and you're burning up to 50 extra calories daily doing nothing. Over time, that's the metabolic advantage you've been missing. Stop quitting just because the fat isn't melting off fast enough. Fat loss is simple. It's a patience game. Work out to build muscle. Move to stay active. Eat like you respect your goals. Keep playing that game long enough and you'll win. You hit the gym. You crush your workouts. You push your body to the limit, feeling every muscle burn. You're drenched in sweat. The effort is palpable. And yet, the fat is still there. Stubborn. Unmoving. At this point, you're standing in front of the mirror, feeling defeated, wondering, does my body even want to change? Why am I working so hard and not seeing results? Here's the hard truth. You're stuck because you're chasing fat loss the wrong way. Yes, that's right. Working out harder isn't the answer you think it is. It's time to look at fat loss from a different perspective. One that might feel uncomfortable at first, but will change everything about how you approach your goals. Most people think fat loss is about burning more calories in the gym. You run more, you sweat more, you suffer more. The common narrative is that fat loss happens through hardcore exercise. But here's the kicker. Exercise doesn't burn nearly as many calories as you think. And when you stop to realize it, that workout you've been pushing yourself through isn't burning as much as you believe. Let's break it down. 30 minutes of running, for example, might burn you around 300 calories. Think about that for a second. That's equivalent to a muffin. Yes, you read that right, a muffin. You can burn that many calories in the gym, and yet a muffin could easily undo the work. But it gets worse. After that workout, your body becomes a master at conserving energy. You might move less for the rest of the day. You might feel a little more sluggish or tired, and that's your body's sneaky way of saving energy. It's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. NEAT refers to the calories burned during non-exercise activities. Things like walking around the house, typing on your computer, fidgeting in your chair, and even just standing up. This is where the magic happens. It's not just about those 60 minutes in the gym. Fat loss is actually happening in the other 23 hours of the day. When you're barely moving and mindlessly eating, that's where the real problem lies. Want the brutal math? You burn more calories just walking throughout your day than you do in that intense workout. Walking a few thousand steps is much more beneficial than you think. So let's stop thinking that workouts are the ultimate fat loss solution and consider the bigger picture. But wait, there's more. Now let's talk about why the math doesn't add up, even though you're trying so hard in the gym. It's not that you're not working hard enough. It's that you're being sabotaged by hidden calories. It's easy to overlook those small bites here and there, the little indulgences, but they add up quickly. Take that healthy smoothie, for instance. You might think it's a great option, full of fruits and good ingredients. But guess what? That smoothie could easily be a milkshake in disguise. With all the extra sugars, juices, and hidden calories in it, you might be consuming more than you bargained for. And don't even get me started on those handfuls of nuts you snack on. Sure, they're healthy, but that handful of almonds or cashews can add up to 200 calories faster than you can blink. These calories are often overlooked, but they can sabotage your fat loss efforts. And then there's the kicker: liquid calories. You might be crushing your workouts thinking you're doing everything right, but you're drinking your calories in the form of sugary beverages, or even those healthy sports drinks. These can undo your efforts before you even realize it. A few glasses of juice, coffee with cream, or even flavored water could easily cost you more calories than you think. If you're serious about fat loss, it's time to flip the script. Here's the honest truth: you don't need to exercise more, you need to eat less. But in a smarter way, it's all about making better choices and creating a strategy that works for you. That means smarter meals, higher protein intake, and staying full on fewer calories. Here's how to approach it. Stop relying on workouts to burn fat. The brutal truth is this: most workouts only burn around 300 to 500 calories. That's barely enough to cancel out a single snack. You cannot outrun a bad diet. Exercise is important for health and muscle building, but fat loss isn't going to come from grinding it out in the gym alone. Increase your daily movement. Forget the intense workouts. What you really need is daily activity. Aim for 10,000 steps a day. Sounds simple, right? But it's a game changer. That's about 400 to 500 extra calories burned per day, depending on your weight and pace. Over the course of a week, that could lead to burning an entire pound of fat without stepping foot in the gym. Build muscle, not because it burns fat directly, but because it makes you look better as the fat comes off. As you gain muscle, you reshape your body, and you become leaner. Muscle takes up less space than fat, so the more muscle you have, the better you'll look with less fat. And here's the bonus: every pound of muscle you gain burns an extra 6 to 10 calories per day at rest. Build 5 pounds of muscle, and you're burning up to 50 extra calories daily, doing absolutely nothing. Make smarter food choices. It's all about quality, not quantity. Instead of mindlessly eating, choose foods that fill you up without overloading on calories. Lean proteins, fiber-rich vegetables, and whole grains will keep you feeling full for longer while helping to control your calorie intake. Drink more water, eat foods that nourish your body, not just satisfy cravings. Patience and consistency. Fat loss is not a race, it's a long-term game. Too many people quit because they don't see immediate results. But this process is simple. Work out to build muscle. Move more throughout the day. Eat in a way that respects your goals. Give it time, give it effort, and don't get discouraged if the results don't come instantly. Stick with it long enough, and you'll see the transformation. Guaranteed. Now, let's talk about the most important part of all: patience. Too many people quit because the fat isn't melting off as fast as they'd like. You might look in the mirror after a week or two and think, "This isn't working." But that's where the real change happens. Fat loss is a slow process. You can't rush it, you can't force it. Building muscle, staying active, and eating right will take time. But when you embrace this approach, it will work. In fact, it's the only approach that actually works. You will hit plateaus, you will feel discouraged at times, but if you keep going, you'll eventually look back and see the progress. That's when you'll know all the effort, the changes, the work. You did it for a reason. Fat loss isn't a quick fix. It's a simple but powerful combination of smart choices, consistency, and patience. It's not just about how hard you work in the gym, but about how well you move, how you eat, and how you respect your goals. Stop focusing on workouts to burn fat. Stop punishing yourself with endless hours in the gym. Instead, make fat loss a lifestyle, one where small, consistent actions add up to big changes. Work out to build muscle. Move to stay active. Eat to fuel your goals. And keep playing the game long enough, and you'll win. Guaranteed. URN.